So, I had an accent last week. I gotta do it this time.
No.
So, what are we doing this week? What are we talking about today?
Oh, fuck. Today on the GEEK Bros podcast, episode 148, we've got the Boondocks series reboot canceled by HBO Max. Joe Rogan is under fire. Netflix announces One Piece live action series. No. And teases an update on Last Airbender series. No. Goosebumps live action series announced by Disney Plus. And for real this time, the Book of Boba Fett episodes 1 through 6 review before the finale. All this and more in this week's episode. Stay tuned.
In a world where geeking out never looked so good, two incredibly sexy men will rise for your auditory pleasure. Here's your hosts, keeping up with the GEEK Bros.
Yes. The GEEK Bros podcast. I'm live with me is Man, and we're the hosts of Keepin the GEEK Bros, a family podcast, allegedly. All right, hit it up.
So, what is going on with the GEEK Bros?
There's so much not going on with the GEEK Bros. I'm actually thinking of just taking that off the outline. That's how serious it is. No, there's stuff going on, just nothing I can talk about right now because what's the point? Wasn't going to give you a false starts, but there is talks of rebranding. Again, I've been talking about rebranding for 3 years now, but as the cast of the GEEK Bros is ever shifting, I have to keep fixing things and rebranding. So new thumbnails, new art, blah 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 blah. Look forward to that. I am committed to shifting over to the GEEK Bros YouTube channel. I'm still working on it. It's literally the last thing on my list. I'm bored and I'm on my bed and I have my laptop open. Then I'm switching over videos. I'm creating lists, but you're talking about it's like 200 videos or something, and I got to put them all in chronological order in certain different playlists. It's annoying. So and then I gotta get sidetracked by watching my old stuff and realize, God, I was a good editor once. So anyway, keep on the lookout for some new stuff. And I'm telling you, as soon as we get rolling, as soon as Man fixes his life, we will have good content again. Not to say the podcast is not good. The podcast is great. But the live action series, not the live action, the web series, the unboxing, things like that. But coming soon, some good stuff. Stay tuned and hang in there with us. We've had growing pains for the last 3 years. I mean, what's another year? All right. Gent, Mr. Man, what's on your mind?
So last week you told me to watch How I Met Your Father, and I couldn't get past the first episode.
Nope. Your rule is
I know my rule is 3 episodes, but God, it was so horrible. For anybody out there who remembers the joke and the treatments of, like, when you're going to detention and the teacher scratches the chalkboard to get everybody, like, that's what it was to watch that. Mm-hmm. It was just, you were right. It was horrible.
It was excruciating. It was cringe. It was so.
It was cringy. Just
all right. Hilary
Duff. First of all, like Hilary
Duff's
said,
acting
horrible. And like you said, within the first episode, these strangers became friends.
Yep.
Like that, and just the way that it happened, it would never happen that way.
It wasn't. Never. It was not organic. It was clearly that's what the writers wanted, and it did, with no thought to it. That's how people are.
What I didn't like is that they used the same intro song as How I Met Your Father, but with, like, I think it's probably Hilary Duff going da 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 da. Like, I just when that came on, I was like, I'm done. Like, before the episode started, I just
Yep.
I couldn't do it. So I'm gonna go 3 episodes in, but just that first one
Mhm.
was just so bad.
It doesn't get any
I
better.
no,
It
I'm
doesn't get
sure
any
it doesn't.
better.
I'm sure it doesn't.
It doesn't get any better.
Other than that, just the
But
same old.
but you have to admit that the gimmick of them saying you've already met the father as one of these guys, it's kind of cool. That's the only thing I
Yeah.
liked about it. That was intriguing. I didn't expect that. Once they said, and son, that's how I met your father. And it was one of these guys. I was like, what?
Oh,
But
and I didn't like the fact how the mom brought it up, like, oh, house, call son, and then it's like, hey, I don't know what you're doing right now, but let me tell you this. Like,
didn't I tell
who
you?
does that?
I went on a rant. Did I tell you that I read on a rant and said there's so many other ways they could have
Oh,
started this, except for her just looking dead at the camera and saying, "Hey,
yeah, like,
yeah,
who does that? Let me FaceTime. Like, it's
yeah,
like my mom FaceTiming me and be like,
yeah."
you know what? I know you don't really, you have daddy issues, but let me
Mhm.
tell you where it started from. Like, no, it's just no. It was
Yeah,
just,
yeah. It was weird. It was
it was
weird.
so bad.
I want
Uh,
you to put this on your topic next week for the first 3 episodes, so you can
yeah,
fully see, because this is you testing out your 3 episode theory.
I'm gonna
So
cry. But see, I had no interest in watching the show to begin with.
that's true.
But
Yeah,
you know, I'll
it's
just,
terrible. It's terrible.
yeah.
It's terrible. For
Other
me,
than
oh,
other than
sorry,
that, yeah, yeah.
hurry it up. It's not all about
I'm
you.
trying. Well, I just talked about one thing. There's so many other things,
That is true,
glorious
but
things
give
in
me
my
like one
life.
thing in your mind.
God has blessed me with many, many things that I need
Yeah,
to
yeah,
share
yeah,
with the
yeah, yeah,
world.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Daughters. Yeah, we get it.
Other than that, the girls had a 100th day at school where they have to dress up like old people. Um,
That is a
I
cool
don't,
new thing that I've heard about that I
yeah,
never got to partake in with my kids.
I never understood the gimmick, but you know, whatever. Did it, took some pictures. Yay. Girls were great. Girls look cute. My little one didn't like it at all, but you know, it is what it is. She yeah, you when I finally post the photos, you'll look at it and you can see exactly which one just did not wanted nothing to do
So
with it.
why'd you make her do it?
I mean, it was already like it's done. I'm not I'm not going back from this. But you know, so they did that, and then other than that, nothing else. Just trying to catch up on all the TV shows and all the games, and it's so hard. But
And that
yeah,
being
that's
said,
it. Mhm.
for me, just school. I got my second test coming up on Thursday. This Thursday coming up. So yes, I don't know how I'm managing to still do podcasts and editing and all this stuff while throwing school in there. And
'Cause you're a
no,
monster.
I did not do as well as I hoped for my first test. Shockingly worse than I expected. Because the sad part is that it's not that I was unprepared for the test, but I thought I had grasped the knowledge of the unit, and clearly not. There's a difference when you don't know, when you know that you have not prepared and that you're going into it blind. It's another wake-up call when you believe you got a grasp of the unit and you don't get the A, you don't get the B, you know? So it was a wake-up call for me that I am not as smart as I think I was, and I need to put more effort. So right now what I'm trying to do is reshift my life to figure out how, because I actually had stopped working out to do schoolwork on and off the clock, on my lunch break and after work. And I'm trying to not lose that because I need to lose weight, but I need to work, but I also need to do schoolwork. So it's a real weird juggling. So that being said, thank you for tuning into the last episode of Keepin the GEEK BROS podcast. Let me stop. All right, so we'll see what happens. We'll move on. So without further ado, episode 148 starts now. But first, subscribe to our podcast. It's the right thing to do. All right, we're moving on to the fresh scent.
Fresh scent.
I have a ringing in my ear all of a sudden, and I don't like it. All right, GEEK BROS approved movies and series of the week, brought to you by Madman.
So some of this stuff I just put on there just because, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so
This is GEEK BROS approved movies and
yes,
series.
but
Are you co-signing on all these that you put there?
I think Jennifer Lopez is beautiful, so yes.
Okay.
And plus we haven't had like a decent rom-com in like forever. Not that I'm like too fond of those, but you know, whatever. We'll see what happens.
This
I'm
man
not
needs love.
not
You
that I'm
guys don't
gonna
know
go
anything
out and
about that
watch
though.
it. But yeah, Marry Me, starring Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson.
I do.
Comes out this Friday. Give you a quick synopsis. I'm going to read it really fast, so maybe you have to slow it down when I do it. Pop superstar Kat Valdez, played by Lopez, is about to get married before an audience of her loyal fans. However, seconds before the ceremony, she learns that about her fiance's cheating ways and has a meltdown on stage. In a moment of inspired insanity, Kat locks eyes with a total stranger, played by Wilson, in the crowd and marries him on the spot. As forces conspire to separate the unlikely newlyweds, they must soon decide if two people from such different worlds can find true love together. I watch a lot of late night TV shows with who was it? Trevor Noah and Jimmy Kimmel and James Corden and all that such. They've interviewed these two for this movie, so you know, she has a whole album where her and Maluma, which is also one of my favorite Colombian singers, created a whole album for this. So yeah, so there's that. Also, February 8th, Disenchantment Part 4 streaming on Netflix. I've watched the first 3. It's a kind of like
that stupid animated series. I hated it.
It's kind of like The Simpsons,
No,
but in
yeah,
like oldie times.
But stupid.
Times. Yeah, but I watched
Stupider.
it. It didn't bother me.
I didn't like it.
But it wasn't like, you know, crazy. I wasn't crazy for it. Miss Pat, y'all want to hear something crazy comedy special? I'm all about comedy, so this will be streaming on Netflix also on the 8th. Star Trek Discovery, new season, Paramount Plus, Friday, February 10th.
Are you co-signing this? Because everybody hates this series. Oh, most everybody.
I don't know. I put it
it's
in there.
My guilty pleasure.
You're a Trekkie, so I put it on.
I'm absolutely not. I'm just whatever.
February 10th. About last night, I completely forgot what this was about. I know something sparked an interest in this. I don't remember what it was. HBO Max on the 10th, and February 11th, I Want You Back, which is about a couple of strangers who break up and they do everything they can to mess up their ex's new love lives so that they can get them back. Like it stars Charlie Day, which I love Charlie Day, so I'm gonna watch that. That streams. It's a movie and it's also streaming on Prime Video on the 11th. And that's all I got as far as video games is concerned. February 10th, all of the Kingdom Hearts games will finally be ported to the Switch, if anybody cares.
I care because I think playing it on the Switch handheld will work for me better than trying to play it on the console, because I clearly don't care about playing on TV. I want to be in my bed looking down and just blah, 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 blah.
I guess. I mean, I'm not really a handheld person.
Really?
No.
That's not what I heard. But I think I mean handhelds are the best. I mean, yeah. I can't wait for that. So I might have to look into that, because I might want to buy all the games on the Switch and play them one by one on the Switch, which is something I probably won't do because I have no time for anything. All right, we're gonna move on to Man's Side Piece.
Side piece suckers.
Goosebumps live action TV series officially announced for Disney Plus. This article is from IGN.com. Hit it, Man.
So, your favorite Goosebumps show. Apparently, the article, which trips me out, starts off by saying Disney Plus will soon be getting a bit scarier, but not too scary. Cool beans. Didn't Nickelodeon try to do something like this?
Yeah, they had Tales from something.
No, they had an anthology
too. They did? Oh, I didn't know that. Because they actually had that, and they had Tales from like a campfire side, just an anthology show that just does these scary R.L. Stine things.
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
They rebooted that, which is also an older Nickelodeon show from back in middle school years, which is where also Goosebumps was on that as well. for Nickelodeon. So yeah, whatever. It's also supposed to actually
I want to
be
reboot
in,
Ghost Rider. Somebody reboot Ghost Rider. That'd be great.
I forgot about that. Wow.
Love Ghost Rider.
But this
Not Ghost
Goosebumps
Rider, Ghost
Ghost
Writer.
Writer. Yes, I know
I know,
got
not
you.
you. I'm talking to the audience. All
Yeah,
12
with
of
the
them.
T, with the T.
Yes.
So this Goosebumps live action series was first revealed back in 2020. Their release, there's no release date as of yet, and it's supposed to be included with the storyline of the Goosebumps movie that starred Jack Black. So yeah, there's that. That's all the news I have for that. So I ain't got nothing else to say.
I know that's right. We're gonna move on now to
Yeah.
Netflix's live action One Piece series begins production. This article also goes from IGN.com. Hit it, man.
So yeah, there's been so many issues.
Have they lost their mind? Did they not see what happened with Cowboy Bebop? Cowboy Bebop.
Not just Cowboy Bebop. What was the one with One Note? What One Note?
Death Note. I heard Death Note. I like. Hold on now. I like Death Note, but I realize, but I'm told I only like Death Note because I'm ignorant of the actual series. If I watched the series, I'd have hated Death Note. Yes. I liked it for what it was, and it came on by accident. I just kept on watching it. I think because that chick, the cute white girl from Left Behind, The Leftovers, whatever.
Yeah,
she was in it. I freaking love that girl, so I just watched it. And so, but you would think, especially Death Note was bad apparently, but it wasn't as bad as Cowboy Bebop, which was canceled immediately after episode 1.
Which is probably gonna happen with this shit, because they don't do very well doing live action. Plus, it's the sort when you're trying to capture the source material with live action, it almost never works properly. So why do they keep trying?
My problem is, how are they going to do the effects, and are they going to look absolutely terrible?
Oh yeah,
these are all people with a whole bunch. These are people with a whole bunch of superpowers, and you know for a fact they're not going to look like the way they look behind you.
No,
you can't cast some of these people in real life.
They're not. So that
why
it was
Netflix,
just.
Why is Netflix on a live action anime tear? Why do they think this is the next big thing?
I think it's just they're trying to gain a population for anime, which doesn't make any sense because they have plenty of anime on there. So just stick with the anime. Stop making everything live action. It's just as bad as Disney Plus making live action movies.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's just exactly what I was going to say. On the bright side, though, the creator of One Piece, Ichigo Oda, whatever his name is, he's signed on as executive producer. So, but executive producer is just a cute name. Most executive producers don't actually do anything. That's
there's supposed to be more excitement to that, because most of the time when they do a live action of an anime, it's never the original creator or executive producer that had anything to do with it.
Right. But what I'm saying though, that executive producer they throw around as like a
it's just a fancy title.
It's a fancy title for almost nothing.
Yeah.
So he'll be there in name only, but that doesn't mean shit. Executive producers, I'm telling you guys right now, I found out that being an executive producer means dick. Is an honorary title most times. So just so you can have that and put it on your IMDb. So I liked One Piece. I watched a lot of it. These animes that go on forever and ever and ever and ever, I end up stop watching. Naruto, Bleach, Pokemon. Like, it's gotta stop, or at least have different seasons, but it just keeps going and going and going. I can't. So just like with this one, I haven't watched this thing in years, maybe a decade or more, and it's I don't really care. Do you care about it?
No, I listen. You're probably gonna damn me for this, but I've never watched an episode of One Piece.
I'm not gonna damn you for it. I can't remember an episode of One Piece, so it's okay. So it's like I haven't watched it either. So
I've never watched it.
I only know the song. Actually, the closest I got to One Piece was when I went out with the lady friend, and we went to Crafty Crab, and right at the front of Crafty Crab was a full scale like sculpture or
cutout.
Not even know it wasn't a cutout. It was like a gigantic action figure, full scale action figure of Luffy. the stretchy guy. So that was kind of funny. If that means
That's
anything.
interesting. But yeah, it just, I don't know. We'll see what happens there. There's no release date. They just began production, so we don't know how long it's going to take, or if they're going to actually finish. So we don't know. As far as the Airbender, the Avatar and Airbender series, there was a tweet that starred Gordon Cormier, who plays Aang, and Daniel Day Kim, who plays the Fire Lord. I forgot his name. But there was a picture of them practicing their bending skills. But yeah,
that was coming out.
Yeah, so apparently they're still working on that as well. Also, in another announcement that's in this article, which is stupid. So last week we talked about how Sony bought over Bungie. Bungie wants to make, as part of their deal with Sony, they want to start creating movies for their games. Do you actually want to see a Destiny movie?
I don't know what Destiny is. What else? What else did Bungie make that I might have heard
of? Destiny's their big one.
Well, you put games plural, so
yeah, no, they want to recreate a lot of their games as movies. They did Destiny.
But if they get sold to Sony, why do they care?
Because Sony has the studios and the music.
Bungie made Halo?
Did they?
It's like Bungie made Halo too. So yeah, Halo Wars, Halo, Destiny, Marathon, so Minotaur. So it looks like just Halo and Myth, Soulbright, Destiny, Crimson. Yeah, that's all I see is Destiny and Halo.
Oh, yeah.
Halo already has a TV show, so
yeah, there's Oni on there, Marathon, Halo, Destiny, Myth. I don't know. There's a lot of games here that I've never.
I love it. Moving on to Variety.com,
Yeah.
the Boondocks reboot scrapped at HBO Max, which I find completely surprising. Hit it, man.
So we gotta put that on there for like 2 seconds.
Okay. You know, I want you to know very clearly that this is a podcast.
I know you keep saying it, but I am a man of my word when I do my background. So,
correct, but the backgrounds have nothing. The YouTube upload that I do of this podcast is a courtesy for the 8 people who demand to watch this. But this is a podcast, ladies and gentlemen. This is a podcast.
So yeah, HBO scrapped the remake because back in 2019, they ordered 2 seasons to revive this. And they were set to start doing it in the fall of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
The original series is streaming on HBO Max, but they decided to scrap the idea. Doesn't say why.
Well, the voice actor of Thomas Dubois, Cedric Yarbrough, says the show is not coming back, or that hopefully one day we'll be able to make
one day we'll be able to visit. Yeah.
So,
yeah, doesn't really say why. Life Underground Gruber, blah 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 blah.
Did you not read this article before you put this on the list? No. So you know what you're talking about?
I did not. I took a nap.
So I'm quite shocked. Last I understood about the Boondocks reboot is that it wasn't going to involve the original creator at all. He had nothing to do with it. None of the voices were coming back. Even the son of the actor who played Granddad, who could make a really good impression of him, they refused to let him come back to reprise the role, and the voice, everything was going to be completely different. So yeah, and that's what I heard. So it's surprising, not surprising. Surprising because they threw off the original creator to do this. Surprising is because they're not doing it at all. When there's a niche. I'm pretty sure they get numbers for this. People love the Boondocks. Boondocks is hilarious.
Yeah, it was a great show.
I think that some of the stuff that the Boondocks you said won't fly now.
That's probably a big issue. That's probably why.
What it is. Because think of some of the shit like the little kid with the braids always said, "Ew, that's gay." Like
Yeah.
it's bad, like it's bad. Now you can't do that shit. So
Bro, if
they
they,
probably
yo,
said this is gonna work now.
I'm surprised no one said anything about this because everybody that likes to cancel shit likes to bring up shit from the past.
And
So
I think it's because it's all black.
right.
It's all black.
So they're afraid to touch it.
Exactly. That's the only reason why it's all black. That's why it's all black cast. It's about a black struggle. You know, it's not. There's a lot of talk about civil rights in there. They're not going to touch this, but I'm pretty sure if they could, they would. But I think part of the reason why this has been canceled, probably the reason why, is that the subject material, the behavior, the mannerisms, the inbred, or I don't know what I want to say, the pre-established fan base would not go for a dumbed down version of this. It would be torn apart. However, the current culture climate that we have now would never allow this show to come on air.
Hell no.
As it's originally intended. So with that being said, I changed my mind. I'm actually not surprised at all. Too bad, so sad, but we got the original, and Boondocks is life. All right. We're moving on to Open Mic.
Open Mic.
Joe Rogan apologized for shameful past use of racial slur. Hit us with it, man. This is all man episode, guys.
So apparently, there's been at least 70 episodes where Joe Rogan drops the N-bomb. No, I'm sorry, not 70. Well, yeah, at least 70. It's been 113 episodes have been removed from Spotify itself because of the use of the slander that he uses. So yeah, so apparently there's been a lot of talk and a lot of individuals, and we're talking celebrities that have been calling to cancel Joe Rogan, or they would pull themselves off of Spotify. It's I heard something this morning where he tells a story about how he went with a friend of his to go see Planet of the Apes. Okay, the movie that came out, back in the day. I don't know.
Mark Wahlberg, or
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know which one. It just said Planet of the Apes. The area that they were in to watch this movie was a predominantly black neighborhood, and he makes a joke about how he walked in, or he felt like he walked in to the Planet of the Apes.
Oh,
right. So there is an audio clip of him saying this, and he also made an apology, saying that he was just trying to convey the story and make it funnier, whatever have you. He also apologizes for dropping the N-bomb because he knows that him as a white person should not be using that. But he also calls how this word is unique and one of the only unique words in the English language because only one race is allowed to use it. If anybody else uses it, it's meant to be derogatory. But if this one race uses it, it brings people up. It means, it's a point of endearment, and stuff like that. So he goes on and on and on and on about it. Andrew Yang, and I'm sorry, you guys remember Andrew Yang, presidential candidate from blah, blah, blah. His stupid ass decides to chime in and says that Joe Rogan isn't a racist. He works alongside and with black people on a daily basis. I'm sorry. That is the politically correct term of saying I'm not racist. I have black friends. I have a black friend.
I have a black friend. That's I really want to say that we're being too sensitive with this, but I'm sorry. That whole I walked into Planet of the Apes in the movie theater, he needs to understand that black people have been called monkeys and apes
yes
forever.
Yes,
that's not good.
No,
I felt that in my heart. I said, oh shit.
Yeah,
he did not just say that.
Like I said, I heard it on 103.5 The Beat this morning. Charlemagne the God was talking about it. I've been seeing articles popping up left and right about how, Neil Young, the singer Neil Young, threatened Spotify that he was going to pull all of his content off as a protest if they kept Joe Rogan on. You know, a lot of people have been involved with this. So when I heard this morning, I said, shit, I gotta dive into this. You know, I gotta get into this or whatever and dive more into it. So yeah, he and then they played the clip on the radio.
What's the timestamp? What's the timestamp of this clip? How long ago was this?
Oh, we're talking years ago, man. If he's talking about the Planet of the Apes movie,
right?
It's got to be years.
But ago. Here's my problem, and I have to make it very clear. I'm not saying what he said was right, but like many other things, if this was such a big problem, why did we not say anything when it happened?
Right.
Who went to the past to find this one clip so we can cancel him now? Furthermore, a year, 2 years, 10 years, people change. You know, people's humor, their sensibilities change. So, is it possible? What is the statute of limitation that one could be held accountable for their behavior in the past?
Oh, he also compared to the neighborhood being like Africa. I forgot that he said that.
Okay, so he was trying to emphasize the fact that he was all black. It was all black. Right. And he probably felt uncomfortable. That's all he was saying. I'm not saying what he's saying is right or wrong. What I'm trying to say though is, let's say for the sake of argument, this is 5-6 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago. Let's say he's grown and matured since then. We all grow. We all keep growing. I'm pretty sure in 10 years from now, I'm going to listen to most of my podcasts and cringe saying, wow, you're an idiot. We all change. Our sensibilities change. What is the statute of limitation by which our present self cannot be judged by our past? That's exactly the question. Because, okay, you know, we've all done dirt in the past. We've all done dirt.
So not to cut you off, this was 11 years ago.
Oh, there you go. That's over a decade ago. Can we assume?
And he was in Philly.
Mm-hmm. Can we assume maybe in 11 years he's grown? He's a different entertainer. He's a different artist. Give me something he said 11 days ago, 11 weeks ago, 11 months ago. But you're going as far back as 11 years. I'm not saying it was right. What I am saying, though, is that there's got to be a statute of limitation. There has to be a statute of limitation of how long ago we're willing to condemn somebody. Because you go far enough back, everybody has said something fucked up. Everybody has done something fucked up.
We all have.
Exactly. We all have. We all have.
Even as kids, we were saying things that we didn't fully understand.
Exactly.
And it was just a repeated phrase, terminology, word that we heard from somewhere else. We didn't fully understand it. So should we all get canceled for it because
that's exactly
it came out of our mouths? Like
we've all done and said something stupid in our past. All of us have. So just some of us have been fortunate enough not to record this shit. Some of us, like me, records all of it. So the point is that at what point do we let what happened in the past be the past? You want to bring it up? Fine. Get a statement from the guy, move on. But to have to cancel him for something that he said, I'm sorry, I don't want to live in a world where every day I have to think about what I do and say to the utmost scrutiny, and I have to take into consideration this may be brought up in the future.
Yep.
That's not a world you want to live in, where you second guess everything you do and say, and you stifle yourself because you're afraid that cultural change, people will get more sensitive or less sensitive, and then boom, they're back in your face, ruin your life, ruin your job, ruin your livelihood, ostracize you from society. This is cancel culture is a nightmare.
So Spotify though has not even like taken any negative actions towards him. They've actually remained on his side. The only thing that they did was they removed episodes, like over 100 of them, that could be considered to be somewhat racy.
Say it again. He said
somewhat
considered.
Racy. Considered somewhat racy.
Considered somewhat racy. This is censorship, ladies and gentlemen. Yep.
Now
this is censorship. Unless you're telling me that he was calling for violence against people, I get it. But we're censoring the man because he's a little racy. What the fuck is going on?
And we all have to understand Joe Rogan started off as a comedian. Therefore, his comedic nature is going to come out.
Right.
A lot of comedians say a lot of racy things
For shock
for
value.
laughs.
For
Yes.
shock value, exactly.
And this is possibly one of those situations.
Because comedians like to say things that they know people are thinking but won't say.
Right, but won't say out loud.
And won't say out loud. And that's part of the draw of comedy.
Yep.
So look, I don't know what else to say. I'm the fact that you said this 11 years ago, I want to tell everybody, shut the fuck up. It's over a decade ago. If the man is sorry, cool. He's not sorry, cool. Doesn't matter. It was over again. Show me what he said. 11 days questionable ago, 11 days ago. 11 weeks. And 11 months.
Did you hear what happened to Whoopi Goldberg?
Yes, she's right.
Yeah. And as a colored person, I understand where she was coming from and what her take is, and this is how it needs to be understood. Mm-hmm. She was not trying to defend what happened at the Holocaust whatsoever. Mm-hmm. But as somebody who is a part of a specific race who's dealt with shit her entire life and her family, her history, right, in this country, right? For her to say that it wasn't about race as a Black woman, mm-hmm. race to her is, it's not
what's race to her. It's what the definition of race is.
Right.
And I'm sorry, and this is not anti-Semitic, or by the way, you can't use that term because allegedly Jewish people are not Semites. But let's just go. Let's carry on. Jewish individuals, Judaism is a religion. It's not an ethnicity. It's not a race. It never has been. Yes, allegedly, in World War II, they were singled out, but their religion was singled out. No different than the Crusades, no different than anything else that went on against Christians were persecuted at one point. Israelites were persecuted at one point. Religions were persecuted throughout history. This is documented history, allegedly. Mm-hmm. Okay. Are we going to say
although Hitler was the type to go after people just for the way that they looked too? Even the white people, even the Jewish people that dealt with that at the past.
Right, but
if they weren't blonde hair, blue eyes, it was an issue.
Of course, but let's just focus on what they consider fact. He mm-hmm. went after Jewish people. That's their religion. It's their culture or their faith, their faith-based culture, but it's not an ethnicity. It's not a race, because your ethnicity and race is based upon, of course, your pigmentation, that's genes, and your ethnicity is your country of origin.
Right.
That's it. Is there a Jewish race? Yes, there's the Israelites, Israel.
Even those from Jerusalem.
Yeah, that's right. Israeli. That's Israeli. Mm-hmm. But it's not, when you ask what you are, I'm just no, you're Israeli. You're you know what I'm saying? Like, so if that's true, see, man, this yeah. irks me because I've been saying it forever. Just because I'm telling it like it is doesn't mean that I'm downplaying whatever suffering that particular group has endured. But much like I don't feel like corporations are people, and even though the law makes it that, corporations are not people.
They're not.
The law makes a corporation a person, unfortunately, but corporations are not people. Ain't no corporate person can come yell at me because it's the truth. And I'm just like I'm saying, being Jewish is not an ethnicity or a race. That is a faith. And that's all I have to say about that. So I'm all on board with Whoopi Goldberg.
My number one thing is about this whole thing is that, and it also comes with Joe Rogan too, freedom of speech. Mm-hmm. At no point did Joe Rogan or Whoopi Goldberg state or incite violence against anybody of the sort.
Exactly.
They were stating their own personal opinions. Now,
exactly.
Do we want to agree? Do we want to say they were right? Do we want to say wrong? Hey, everybody can say whatever they want about it. But the fact that Whoopi Goldberg was suspended 2 weeks without pay for that comment, for understanding that race was something completely different than what everybody else decided to be at that point in time. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just, it's the same thing as the questionnaire. When you go and you fill out a piece of paper, says, what race are you? White, black, or other? As a Hispanic person, what am I supposed to fill out? Other? Well, other indicates, Pacific Indian, Native American. I'm sorry, not Pacific Indian. Pacific Oriental, Pacific Islander. That's it. Pacific Islander, Native. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Pacific Rim.
But nothing in there states Hispanic. So it's like, what am I supposed to do? And those are like your only three choices. And then it breaks down to ethnicity. And it's the stupidest thing ever, or the stupidest thing ever. Sorry, Jesus, I'm making these strings strong for me. But it's so ridiculously stupid. Everybody just needs to understand, yes, there are different colored people. We all have we identify ourselves differently. Fine. But don't hash up people that, especially Whoopi Goldberg, who's however old she is, 60, 70 something. And I'm sorry, Whoopi, if I put you too old, whatever. These people came up during the hard times, so they bring that with them in their old age. Now, did she say anything negative? No. She just said she doesn't understand how white and white crime compares to white on black crime or murderous intent or anything of the sort. That's all she was stating. Now, did she play it down? No, she didn't do any of that. So for her to get canceled the way that she did was absolutely just ridiculous. And that's just how I feel. Freedom of speech. You made an opinion, done.
I just think we just need to adhere to the Oxford Dictionary things. What is an ethnicity? What is a race? And go from there. I mean, I don't think it goes back to opinions. Like it's same thing with sex and gender. There are only two sexes. There's a million genders because gender is a I don't want to say a made up term, but it's a made up term that's divorced from biology. We all know this. Just focus on the definitions. These are the definitions. There's only two sexes. There's a million genders, but gender has nothing to do with sex. Sex is biological. Gender is is psychological. Exactly. Fact. Judaism is a religion. It's not an ethnicity, it's race, as opposed to black, which is a race. Fact. We need to just stop with this. Cancel because he said no. Go back to the definition. Go back to that's why I'm glad, or I guess the world is lucky that I'm not one of the celebrities, because I get caught up in some shit like this. It would happen to me, no doubt. But I would not listen to me when I say I would not compromise myself by saying, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean that. No. I would double down. What is the definition? What did I say? Oh, you're insensitive. How was I insensitive? Tell me what I said. And I'd have a dialogue, and I would have, my agent would drop me like a bad habit, because I would not back down. The fact that Whoopi Goldberg has to apologize, and I'm telling you right now, she was forced to apologize.
Oh, That's
why she's not doing it because she wants to do it, and no one's gonna force me to do anything. As long as I know for a fact that I don't intend any ill will. I'm just expressing myself based upon the fact of reality. You're not gonna condemn me for that. Absolutely not. Especially if I'm not inciting violence or trying to hurt somebody or intentionally trying to be mean-spirited. If I'm just speaking out of pure fact, or at least my opinion based upon some kind of fact, leave it alone. I hate having these conversations. I hate having these conversations.
Yeah. And this is another big thing, because everybody knows The Rock and everybody loves him. He's also pulled back his support because of all of the offensive comments that
Joe Rogan?
Yeah, for Joe Rogan. He's pulled back his support because he was supporting him for a while. Like, hey, no, he's not like that. But then after, so many people on the internet started saying all sorts of stuff, he's like, all right, I'm going to back off now.
That's got nothing to do with that. It's his freaking agent saying, man, this is going to hurt your bottom line. You need to pull back.
Yeah.
And I get it. Money is king. But again, solidarity means something. You know what I'm trying to say? It means something to back somebody up and say, listen, I know this is not how he is. Guys, this is 10, especially since it's The Rock. It's The Rock.
Yep.
He pulls some weight right now. If anybody can help Joe Rogan out of this nonsense, it's The Rock.
It's him. Yep.
The Rock standing firm, giving the people's eyebrow and saying, listen, that was 11 years ago. And do what I said. Show me something recent. What has he said recent? If not, shut the fuck up. And that's the bottom line. Oh, no, it's not his thing. What is it? Can you smell what I'm cooking? Whatever it is.
Smell what I'm cooking, yeah.
Okay? Can you smell what I'm cooking? Leave Joe Rogan alone. That's what I'm saying. So the fact that he's pulling off, and that sucks and it's hurtful. You know, The Rock has a platform to be like, yo, he ain't like that. Okay, I cannot support what he said in the past, but he hasn't said anything like that to me. In the future, there's no recordings of him in the present. And for Christ's sake, people, it was 11 years ago. Let it go. People change. That's all you gotta say. All right, we gotta move on to so we're gonna move on to the Book of Boba Fett. We've got 6 chapters to review in like 30 minutes or so, because our life sucks. We did not review the last 3 last episode because even though I put it there, it was never actually on the list. And even though I read to you guys what's called the preface, if it's not actually on the list, I forget. So we're gonna speed run through this. Okay, the Book of Boba Fett, chapters 1 through 6 starts now. Episode 1.
We'll just do 1 through 3 because those kind of coincided together. That's the only reason why I'm saying that. Because listen,
Chapter 1, Stranger in a Strange Land. Boba Fett and Fennec Shand receive a series of guests who intend to pay their respect. However, tensions rise when one guest doesn't bring a tribute. Chapter 2, I forgot, I didn't put the name there. Boba Fett has to be prepared as
you didn't put names anywhere.
No, I did. I put the first one, Stranger in a Strange Land. Shut the fuck up. Chapter 2, Boba Fett has to get prepared as he is about to face a brand new group of intense challengers on Tatooine. Chapter 3, Boba Fett gets prepared as he has to deal with 2 very different threats and how they impact him. Chapter 4, Boba Fett recalls partnering with Fennec Shand to reclaim his ship, Slave One, from Jabba's fading empire, which
they didn't even call it Slave One.
No, they called it the Gunfire Spitfire ship, under the control of Bib Fortuna. In the present, the pair prepares to host a banquet of our boss' Christmas. We're gonna review the first 4 chapters because that's all of Boba Fett. If those, spoiler alert or not, chapters 5 and 6 are like the Mandalorian season 3. So we're gonna get in the first 4 chapters. Let's talk about it. It's a slow burn.
Listen, the first 4 chapters, I really was against continuing to watch the show after the 3rd one.
Yes.
I didn't care. I was like, oh, he came out the Sarlacc pit, and then this is what happened this whole time. And then it basically was just how Boba Fett became a Tusken Raider. That's basically all those first 3 episodes were about.
Yeah.
He became a Tusken Raider before he, took over Mos Eisley. Mos Eisley, whatever. And I'm just like, I don't care about that. Like, why?
I disagree a little bit. I kind of thought the whole Tusken Raider thing was a little compelling. It was a little compelling.
No,
because they're humanizing the Tusken Raiders, and the only other time they humanized the Tusken Raiders was in the, in my opinion, was the the Obi-Wan Kenobi book. No, the Obi-Wan book, which is now relegated to Legends. So, like, I kind of liked it a little bit. It made me smile a little bit, but that was the only part about it that I actually liked in the last 4 episodes. Well, that's not necessarily true. I like chapter 4, although the whole Fennec Shand thing didn't make any sense to me because she should have been dead and whatever. I liked the Sarlacc pit thing. That was funny because they did the Sarlacc pit like they did in the special edition. They didn't do it like the original recipe. So when I saw that, that was kind of cool. I was like, oh my God, they did special edition. Yay. So, but the first 4 chapter 4 was pretty good. I like chapter 4. 1 through 3 were painfully slow.
God.
They Boba Fett was getting his ass kicked like really bad. And I was just like,
constantly.
So they said, oh, because he needs to be healed or whatever, which is sure. But no, not really. He was getting his ass whooped. I didn't like a lot of the characters. I didn't like the fact that nobody gave a shit that it was him. I don't know what I was expecting at the end of The Mandalorian season 2 when they showed it, but it was definitely wasn't this. Are you done with episode chapters 1 through 4? You want to hit upon chapters 5 and 6?
I'm gonna ducktail on what you said about no one gave a shit about him or it being him. I agree with that because with Boba Fett in the movies, it was like, oh shit, Boba Fett, be careful.
Yeah.
Here it's like, look at this guy. Who's this guy?
Yeah, you ain't shit.
Boba Fett. I'm Boba Fett. So, like, it's just they downplayed his character and his build for like, it was just horrible. Like, it made me not give a shit even more.
Yeah,
like, I just didn't care.
Yeah,
I was like, this is ridiculous. Whatever. But then then we'll keep talking. We'll move forward.
Yeah. Okay. Chapter 5. The Mandalorian reunites with the survivors of his tribe to find out more about the Darksaber before traveling to Tatooine with new gear to meet Fennec Shand and Boba Fett to discuss upping war. That didn't happen in episode 5, but whatever. So episode 5 was at the time the best episode, and Boba Fett didn't appear in it at all. This was not chapter 5 of the Book of Boba Fett. This was
chapter
part 1 of 2 of season 3 of Mandalorian. It was all Mandalorian, and it was the best episode. Okay, you saw him use the Darksaber. You saw that he wasn't proficient at it. You saw him burn himself, which is kind of funny as hell. You saw that he's still doing bounties. He's still a bounty hunter, which is I found to be interesting because I thought he would have gone with Bo-Katan. I thought that's where they were going with it. So that was quite surprising. I love the idea that Vizsla, who's played by Jon Favreau, and the female Mandalorian, they survived. They survived the raid. I like that. And I knew it. The minute I saw them, I said, she's going to ask him if he took off his helmet. She's going to ask him if he took off his helmet. I was just waiting for that to happen, waiting for it to happen. It was great. It was a great, and the episode felt so long, even though it was good, but it didn't go, it just felt so long. So much was packed. It was so dense. I hated the part where they did their little grease lightning montage on the Naboo starfighter. I don't like that chick. The one, the mechanic, and I never liked her. She doesn't sound or act like a Star Wars character.
So do you want to know why the first 4 episodes were horrible and this one was great?
You can go ahead. I think I heard a little bit about it too. Why? What's up?
Robert Rodriguez is the one that directed the first 4. Bryce Dallas Howard directed these 2, who also did The Mandalorian.
No, Bryce Dallas Howard didn't direct number episode 6. Episode 6 was Dave Filoni.
6?
Dave Filoni directed episode 6. Episode 6 was 5. Number 5 was Bryce Dallas Howard, yes. Yeah. But I'm telling you right now, this episode was really, really good. Especially the you know what's the most beautiful thing about this episode was that weird ring civilization planet thing. It was, I don't know what it was. You could tell all the budget went to that. You remember he's the first shot. Ring? That's where he went to go train to go find him.
Yeah.
It was this big circle in space. That was one gigantic long strip of bubble tape wrapped around itself of a city. That was amazing, bro.
Yeah, that was thing. That looked. It kind of reminded me of, there was a movie, but I'm not even trying.
I think I know what you're talking about. But yeah, that was amazing. So episode 5, man.
It was amazing. I had to grit my teeth to watch another episode of this damn series, and I was just like, I'm just gonna keep it going because of the podcast, whatever. And then
see, we do this for you guys.
When I saw The Mandalorian, I was like, oh. I felt like it was that sexy ex-girlfriend that walked into.
That's right.
Hey,
he's like, all right, how you doing? You looking good.
I was like, hey, shiny armor guy. Yeah, I see you. I see you kicking ass. Yeah. And then I was like, yes. And then it was action filled. It was a Mandalorian episode. And I loved it. I was like, yes, the best one this year. I was like, all right, we can forget the rest of those episodes. I'm starting here.
And it was only a Book of Boba Fett episode because at the very end, Fennec Shand.
Yeah, Fennec Shand shows up.
Fennec Shand says, "I got a job for you.
Want to make some money?
Who for Boba Fett? Tell us on the house, but first, let me take a selfie. No, he's just but first,
Yeah.
I gotta go see my buddy. Chapter 6. This is a lie. Fett and allies discuss ways to win the upcoming war despite their lack of
That happened at the
manpower.
end of the episode.
Yes. Then Jaren visits Grogu, but is confronted by difficult choices. The conflict between Fett and the Pikes impacts a small town in Freetown. This was a beautiful episode. One, it brought back the Marshal, and I fucking love him. He's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Two, they brought in, what is his name, for the love of God, that alien? Damn.
Oh, Cad Bane.
Cad motherfucking Bane to live action.
That was a badass.
He looked great and voiced by the same person from the Clone Wars and Rebels. And no, he wasn't in Rebels. And what's it called? The Book of Boba? No, the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Check it out. Okay. That was amazing. Let's move on. Mando goes to this planet. And not only do we see Grogu, but we see Ahsoka again. Not only do we see Ahsoka again, we see a better deep-faked Luke Skywalker. Not only do we see a better deep-fake, yeah, it was better. It was better. Shop. It was way better. It was way better.
It was way better, but like, did you actually pay attention to his mouth as he was talking?
No, I don't look at men's mouth like that. Why? Was it that bad?
It was fucking horrible. Like, so CGI his face. Great. It looks a lot better than it did the last time that we saw him. Great. But he's speaking, and it's almost like watching old school Asian movies where they're like,
no, it wasn't.
Look over there.
It was not that bad. I have to watch it again. It was not that bad.
Rewatch the episode and watch his mouth.
It was not that bad.
It
was not that bad. It was not that bad. They hired somebody who on YouTube did these deepfakes better, and that's who they hired to do this. Anywho, yeah, it was great. But not only did we see that, we saw Jedi train. We saw Luke. They spent a lot of time, and I mean a lot of time, with Luke training Grogu. This was the episode that I didn't know that I wanted. I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. It was such an amazing episode, and it ended on with a cliffhanger. I loved and hated Ahsoka being with Luke, because again, the fuck was she at during the first?
We'll find out on the Ahsoka TV series.
Episode 4, 5, and 6. Where the fuck was she? If she's gonna be here after the fact. That's like saying if you weren't there with me at the bottom, you can't be here at the top. Where were you? I wanted to see this conversation when they first met. I want to hear because I'd ask him. I would, if I was Luke, I'd ask her, where the hell were you? Where the hell were you when Obi-Wan died? You knew him. Where the hell were you when we were getting our ass kicked? Where the hell were you when I got my hand chopped off? Where were you?
Yep.
Who are you with? Because around the same time, sort of, just beforehand, she was with the rebellion.
Yep.
So where were you? So unless you're telling me, she got stuck on some planet for 3 movies, how did you get off? So that's my only problem. As I saw her and I liked it. And clearly they had just met because they go, "Oh, I'll ever see you again?" But I wanted to see them meet for the first time. Man.
I love this episode too. I like I said, the CGI Mark Hamill was just, I can't get over that. It visually was better. Audibly was horrible.
Audibly right here.
But you shut your mouth. But yeah, and then like I didn't like how they ended it.
Okay. Why? Because that's good writing. It's called a cliffhanger.
No, it's called a cliffhanger. But knowing who Luke Skywalker is, how do you force Grogu to make that decision? Because he doesn't.
What do you mean?
Did he not?
What do you mean?
Did he not?
What do you mean?
So he was given a choice to pick the armor that Mando brings to him, or choose the lightsaber to become, a Padawan or whatever.
Right.
But Luke never let go of his family.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? He was always around his
What
sister.
do you mean?
He was
Yeah,
always around his sister. He was never given that choice.
But he was never trained. He wasn't trained properly. It was more of an unorthodox thing with him. He's trying to uphold.
He's trying
to uphold the way things used to be.
Right, but knowing what happened, especially like further on in the movies or whatever, that wasn't him.
What do you mean?
That's not what he did. When we saw him in.
It's been 5 years. It's been 5 years since the Return of the Jedi. You don't know what he read about, what he thought. Maybe he thought, okay, well, I got lucky, but we got to go back to the old ways because the old ways might have worked. We don't know. But the simple fact of the matter is, though, is that I don't think he's making him force not to have a connection to Din Djarin. He said that being a Jedi, you need to have your head in it. If your head's not going to be in it, if you're not going to be committed, then go. That's all he's saying is, look, this is the truth about being a Jedi. This is the reality. It's a hard life, and you have to be focused and committed. So I'm going to give you the choice. Either you be focused and committed here on 4th, or go back to the Mandalorian. I don't think I think everybody's taking this decision as you can't have attachments. Jedi's wrong. No, he said nothing like that. It's Ahsoka who said, "I see what attachment does to a Jedi." All he said was, "This is a hard life, and if you're not focused, then you're going to be wasting your time and wasting my time. Either you're committed to this or you're not." Sounds eerily similar to what I've said to Geek Bros in the past. I'm not telling you can't live your life, but I'm saying that there's a certain commitment level needed to be on a podcast, to be in some kind of elite force, to be in the army, to go to school. If you don't have the commitment, then you shouldn't be involved.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he's saying. And I agree with him. So no, I don't think it was hypocritical. He didn't say anything about attachment. He didn't say, but it's going to lead you to the dark side. He said, look, it's a hard road. Either you're in it, take the lightsaber, or you're not in it, or you can't be in it and go back to the jar. No harm, no foul. He gave Grogu a chance because Grogu wasn't given a choice. The Mando said, here, go with him. And that was it. Grogu wasn't given a choice. So Luke is giving him a choice now. Luke gave him a taste. Luke gave him the first 3 episodes, of the Jedi. Now it's up to you. Are you gonna continue watching, or are you gonna dip out of the show? Are you gonna continue training, or what?
I'm curious to find out what ends up happening with Grogu.
Grogu is going to go back to the Mandalorian. It was foreshadowed in it by his new starfighter. It goes again canonically. Luke's first official student of his new academy was Ben Solo. So, really? Yes, canonically, that's what it was. He was his first student because he was going through something at 10 years old, and Luke and Leia sent him to him to please train him, get him off this path, whatever's going on with him. So canonically, assuming this is leading up to the sequel trilogy, which kind of is, because if you saw the temple he's building, it looks very similar to the temple that you saw that was exploded in The Last Jedi.
Right.
Grogu's going to leave. But I think he's either going to steal Yoda's lightsaber or he's still going to be gifted it, saying you can come back anytime. He just probably never comes back. That's what I see. He's going back to The Mandalorian. Clear as day. I knew that the minute he said it. So if he doesn't, well, A, I don't know what it does to canon. And B, I'd be shocked. Absolutely shocked. But you know what shocked me most? When he did his flashback to the Jedi Purge. Bro, when I saw those clone troopers fucking up those Jedis right in front of his face, I was like, yes. Yes. I want to know that story. I want to know how he got out of that shit. But anyway, final thoughts on chapter 6.
Listen, 5 and 6 piqued my interest, and I'm definitely gonna watch the next one. Actually, no, this is the season finale coming out.
No, there's one more, episode 7.
No, that's what I'm saying. Wednesday.
Yes.
Wednesday? Yeah,
yes.
Wednesday's the season finale.
Yes.
Yeah, I listen. we always have a hard time saying that the pilot episode is the one that's supposed to drag you into it, right?
Yes.
But it's never happened. Because
Yes.
clearly the first 3 episodes were shit.
Yeah.
Let's go. The first 4 episodes.
First 3 episodes were lackluster. They were mundane. They were nothing. Chapter 4. Well, especially those weird colored Vespas. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking when they did that. When I saw that, I said, "This is not Star Wars. This is not Star Wars." God, I hate those modded people. Chapter 4 was pretty good. Chapter 4 should have been probably chapter 1.
Yeah, so
they should have combined how he got out of the Sarlacc pit and chapter 4 together as one episode. That would have been a good episode.
Yeah, but the first episode is supposed to be the one that grasps your attention and make you want to watch more. Clearly did not happen. For anybody that cares about this show, 5 and 6, like we're already at the end, and you're like, yeah. Why?
It's a shame. It's a shame
because it is dude.
Because Mandalorian. Because they snuck in a two-part teaser. No, a 2-part episode, a 2-parter for season 3 or season 3 teaser into my Boba Fett. You got a little Mandalorian in my Book of Boba Fett, y'all. Okay, yeah. It's the Book of Mandalorian. So that's good though, because remember we were supposed to be getting more Mandalorian around now anyway. So yeah. this helped quench my thirst a little bit for the Mandalorian. It did. So overall, the show is kind of shitty. I don't know whose idea this was. I wasn't clamoring for a Boba Fett series at all. I don't know why they did this. They could have easily have put his arc in the Mandalorian season 3. Just throw it in there somehow. Don't give him his own episodes. Don't do that. But throw it in there like you did, like you threw it, because he worked really well in season 2. Yeah. I like Boba Fett in season 2. He looked good. He was good. It was fun. But I don't know, bro. Whatever. Any predictions or thoughts about episode 7 before we review it next week?
There's gonna be a war with the Pikes, obviously. Okay. I don't know. Maybe we'll see Grogu again. Hell, maybe Ahsoka might show up. You know, because that might be the transition into the Ahsoka series.
God, I hope not. I hope that we don't see Grogu, we don't see Luke, we don't see Ahsoka. That was good. Don't overplay it. We don't need to see them. Because they have nothing to do with this story. Of course. Mando, because Mando and him are friends, allegedly, or whatever. I get it. But other than that, I'm so sick and tired of Tatooine. I just want to see a fun war. I want to see some serious action. But I want to see a Book of Boba Fett action. Yeah. You give us a little side story.
Besides him getting his ass kicked.
No, I don't want him getting his ass, because remember, he's now fully healed. Mm-hmm. He's not fully healed. There's no more excuses about his lack of skills. Okay, so he's the best bounty hunter, and he's got trained by the Tusken Raiders. He should be a force to be reckoned with in this episode. This should show us him returning to form. So I'm expecting a really good battle with the Pikes. I don't want any more surprise guests.
Cameos?
No more cameos. No more cameos. Let this be his episode and let him wreck some shit. Please. No more cameos. Except for, of course, the Mandalorian. But let the Mandalorian, let him be on the sidelines. You know what I'm trying to say? I don't know what I'm trying to say. But I want to see.
Let it be about Boba Fett. That's it.
Let it be about Boba Fett and his people. Let him kick some ass, take some names, and go from there. That's what I like. That's what I'm expecting. It's what I hope to see. So I'd like it to go out with a blast. That's what I'm saying. Is that too much to ask? So with that being said, I guess that's a wrap for this episode. You got anything else to say, man?
No. Stay tuned and hear our
wow, you are
shocking revelation of chapter 7.
Yep, we're gonna review it next week, and we're gonna go from there, and we'll have a regular episode because we decided to shorten this episode because, surprise, we had way too much to talk about today when it comes to the book of, and we're making it right on time. Look at that, no more podcasts.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it for the last of the night. Last of the nice guys. Fuck. See what's on my mind. This is what's on my mind. As I just realized we can't do it now because I actually have daddy movies.
Yeah.
Anyway, Shem's promotions before we wrap it up.
I am Man on Facebook and YouTube, and Man17093 on IG, Twitter, Snapchat, the ticker of the talks, Grinder, Christians looking for Baptists,
ourtime.com,
RedTube. I'm trying this new thing.
Did you say RedTube? The fuck is RedTube?
Porn site.
My
trying, yeah. I'm trying this new thing that is nothing. So yeah, nothing.
What? Anyway, I'm Vibe. You can find me at Vibe Studios everywhere. VIBEREV STUDIOS. Sorry. That's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.com, YouTube. Find me there. You'll see everything you want to see and whatever I'm working on, and then some. Of course, the Geek Bros, all two of us. You can find us at Instagram and Twitter. That's GEEKBRO0S. Email us, all two of us, geekbros@yahoo.com, GEEKBRO0S. Facebook.com, just geekbros@0. Check us out. WeBeGeeksPC.com, the first place. Thank you, Mike. Brilliant podcast. And of course, youtube.com/Vibro Studios to check out these lovely faces. So that's it for keeping the Geek Bros podcast. And remember, geeking out still sounds this good.
Keeping up with the Geek Bros.